Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the County Council's meeting today. We are now moving into our commemoration of African Heritage Month. Thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Today is a great day to celebrate. I want to first recognize there are many people in our audience, but in particular, we have representatives from Senator Van Hollen's office. Thank you, Jeff Samuels. We have Joseph Eong from Representative Congressman Jamie Raskin's office. Thank you for being here. We have Delegate Wims here, our East County Regional Services Director, Giroux here, and I'm sure there's probably other folks I may be missing, but this is a wonderful day for us. Oh, our Caribbean liaison for our community partnerships. Thank you so much for being here. We are so thrilled to be celebrating African Heritage Month. As many of you know, here in Montgomery County, we made history a number of years ago as being the first county in the nation to officially designate September as African Heritage Month. And it has, yes. And we are so glad to see many other jurisdictions, and Governor Moore has now done it in the state of Maryland, and more places lifting up African Heritage Month. So this year follows and continues the time-honored tradition of honoring and celebrating African heritage, culture, and contributions. As many people in this room know, here in Montgomery County, we are home to a large African population. Over 16% of the overall immigrant population in our county is from Africa. I was honored to join hundreds of people at the Ethiopian Day festivities in downtown Silver Spring a number of weeks ago. And then last week, we kicked off African Heritage Month at the Civic Building. Unfortunately, we all know the times we are living under and this federal administration. And we are working against that tide, as the federal administration is working to dismantle any formal recognitions of diversity, culture, heritage, and attacking our communities. Here in Montgomery County, we are doubling down. We are lifting our voices. We are playing drums and we are singing and dancing because we are staying true to our values here in Montgomery County and continuing to work towards being an inclusive and welcoming community. And so this year's theme is From Continent to the County, Living the Legacy. And we have an incredible video presentation we're going to show you in a moment to lift up our community and business leaders here. And I just want to do a huge shout out to Mershai, Joe, and Lucia for their work putting together this outstanding video and special commemoration. And I do see we have Daniel Caroma also in the audience from the County Exec's office. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague, Council Vice President Joando, to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam President, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm really happy to be here and proud. It's hard to overstate how proud I am to be from and live in a county, as was mentioned, that was the first in the nation to declare African Heritage Month. And we often lead in Montgomery County, and this is a great way that we have led. Maryland, as I often talk about in the DC, Maryland, Virginia as a whole, but Maryland specifically and Montgomery County specifically, has one of the largest African immigrant populations in the country. And that's not by accident. It's because we've built a community that over generations has continuously welcomed and celebrated the richness of the African community and all that the richness that those cultures bring. Today is especially important to me as a proud Nigerian American. My father came here from Nigeria in 1970, and I carry that part of my identity with me every day in what I wear and what I eat and how I approach the world. I refuse to check either part of my identity at the door. And we embrace that fully here in Montgomery County and take immense pride in it. As we celebrate today, I think about the journey to having a commemoration like this recognized in official spaces. And I just want to thank all my colleagues for fully embracing this. They're going to all be tearing down the food later with me upstairs, and as will you. It's so important because the African diaspora is incredibly vast and incredibly diverse. We're talking about thousands of languages. God bless you. Thousands of languages, cultures, histories, and belief systems. There's more genetic diversity in Africa than in the rest of the world combined, and so many unique stories to tell. I'm reminded of a quote from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first prime minister and president of Ghana after its independence from Britain. And for those who know, I'm a Nigerian quoting a Ghanaian, so you know that's a big step. He said, "I am not African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me." That is the truth that I've learned to cherish personally, professionally. It's also a truth that applies to everyone in the wonderful diaspora. Whether your family arrived in this country a generation or two, or a week or two ago, seeking a better life, or whether your ancestors were kidnapped from their home continent and stripped of their native tongue and forced to come here, but you made this your home. Africa was born in all of us. That's one of the things that I love most about Montgomery County, that people from all corners of the world and all generations of the diaspora have found a place to live, work, and build community with one another. I take pride in living in a community where African immigrants aren't just valued and protected, but have a seat at the table, and they're eating at that table too. They have silverware as well, even if we had to take it for ourselves and pull ourselves up to the table from time to time. We have so many incredible African immigrant leaders in our community. Some were mentioned by the council president, who have become movers and shakers here in the county. You're going to see just 3 of them here momentarily. So it's my very humble honor to introduce the video that we're going to see here honoring African Heritage Month and some of those great leaders. So happy African Heritage Month. Thank you, Madam President.
Terrific. Now I think we're going to the video, correct? So we're going to cue up the video.
September is African Heritage Month in Montgomery County and across the country, a time to honor the resilience, creativity, and impact of African people in our communities. This year's theme, From the Continent to the County, Living the Legacy, celebrates how African heritage continues to thrive and evolve here at home. We begin with Dani Anasanya, a Nigerian-American multidisciplinary artist whose work lives at the intersection of memory, identity, and cultural storytelling.
So I always loved creating as a child. So I always loved painting and making things, especially in school. Art is where I've always found my most fun. It never felt like work to me. Creativity for me has brought about so much of my own personal healing, and there's a certain release that happens when you just allow yourself to flow, especially when it comes to abstraction as well, because there's no rules.
In Dani's studio, nothing is one-dimensional. Her art flows across mediums, and she's always open to experimenting, each work revealing new layers of her identity.
West Africa is so rich in color and vibrancy, and essentially people look at my work, they're like, oh, the color, oh, the vibrance, and it's in my DNA. I can't even help myself. Gold is so prominent in West Africa. It's known as the Gold Coast, so that's always reflected in my work too, because I love gold leaf, and it symbolizes rejuvenation and royalty and rebirth, so that's always incredible to be able to include all of that.
Council Vice President Will Jawando also stopped by while we were there.
Tell me what we're looking at here.
So this is a piece entitled Royal Sankofa, and the Sankofa symbol originates from the Akan culture, which is Ghana in West Africa, and I just love this rendition because it also incorporates glass and gold leaf, so it represents the resilience of our people throughout the diaspora.
You and I share our West African heritage,
yes,
and it's really cool that I know you embed that in a lot of your work.
Mm-hmm.
Today, her work is displayed at Modern Contempo Luxury Furniture in North Bethesda.
I'm very grateful to be a part of this team now.
Donnie's work is a celebration of what's been passed down and an invitation to imagine what's still to come. Across Montgomery County, African heritage isn't just preserved, it's lived and built, one connection at a time. Originally from Senegal, Ben Jeju has made it his mission to create space, visibility, and belonging for African immigrants and their families. Through the Senegalese Association of the DMV, a nonprofit, Ben is building something bigger than himself.
The Senegalese Association of the DMV was started back in the 90s with the former founders that was here. So they started it to just try to put people together, Senegalese community together. Now it's getting bigger.
One of the most joyful expressions of that mission, the annual Senegalese Festival in downtown Silver Spring. A celebration of culture, music, food, and unity that continues to grow year after year.
The motivation was to get our kids involved because the future is the new generation, the next generation, the kids. We have to leave them something, to the heritage, to the culture, the self-identity and all that. Every time we do it, people will come out, you see faces, people smiling, happiness. That's what keeps us keeping moving.
Thank you for coming, everybody.
Through leadership, celebration, and service, Ben is helping shape what African heritage looks like in Montgomery County, not just in the past, but in the present and future. In the heart of Silver Spring, Sugar Spring Ethiopian Cafe is more than just a place to eat. It's a homecoming. Owner Salamawit Teferra turned a childhood dream of entrepreneurship into a place where culture, flavor, and family all come together.
When I was a kid, I used to say I want to be the businesswoman, but I never thought to open a restaurant. But I love cooking. I think that's one thing that makes me to open the restaurant. But even though my background was from IT and I was graduated from the cybersecurity, but the passion and the desire to be a businesswoman and also at the same time to show the Ethiopian culture.
The name Shaggar is deeply personal. It's a nickname for Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's capital, a city known for warmth and hospitality. For Salamawit, it was the perfect name to bring a piece of home to Montgomery County.
Ethiopian food is a little different from the other ethnic food because it brings all the people together. The way we eat is like we eat it from one plate and then sharing. That makes it unique. People eat from one plate, that means just we are one. Eating it together, it shows unity.
During my visit, Salamawit cooked a meal and we sat down to share it together.
It's amazing.
Salamawit is ensuring that African heritage isn't just remembered, it's lived, savored, and passed on. African Heritage Month is a time to reflect on where we come from and celebrate how far we've come. From the continent to the county, African heritage lives here, and together, we are living the legacy.
Thank you very much, Salamawit. Thank you for being here. Ben, Donnie, thank you for joining us, for being in the video. Mershai, Joe, thank you for putting that together. And we are going to get to eat in a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, thank you all for joining us. We're going to start the official proclamation now, and I'll kick us off. Whereas September is African Heritage Month, which recognizes and celebrates African achievement and educates community members about the many cultures across the African diaspora. And
whereas Montgomery County is the first county in the nation to proclaim the month of September as African Heritage Month. And
Whereas the African culture and identity is vast and diverse, and through everyday intercultural exchanges, African immigrants share their languages, rituals, food, dance, art, literature, and more with communities across the nation. And
whereas the United States is home to approximately 3 million African immigrants representing 54 different countries, each contributing to the rich tapestry of our nation. And
whereas Montgomery County is proud to be home to a significant African population, which makes up over 16% of our diverse immigrant community. And
whereas we recognize African community members for their ongoing achievements and their contributions to our county's diversity with their traditions, values, and history. And
whereas the Montgomery County Council's 4th annual African Heritage Month commemoration theme is from the continent to the county, living the legacy. And
This year's commemoration highlights how African residents share their accomplishments, creativity, and values with their community to enrich Montgomery County. And
whereas African changemakers in Montgomery County and across the nation prove that heritage and identity can thrive in every corner of the world. And
whereas during African Heritage Month, we celebrate the diversity of culture and traditions across the continent of Africa and learn about our shared history and what connects us globally. And
whereas we recognize the rich mosaic that is celebrated during African Heritage Month as a way of preserving the past, linking to the present, and educating future generations.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby proclaims September 2025 as African Heritage Month, presented on this, the 16th day of September in the year 2025. Thank you all. And now we're going to invite folks to come down. We have some paper proclamations to hand out to individuals, and we'll take a picture before we make our way to the 4th floor for lunch. So if everyone who's here for the proclamation can come down.